Hey Bulldog fans, Robbie Falk here for a reaction video. Mississippi State at South Carolina today, and it played out the exact same way the last few games have played out for South Carolina in Colonial Life Arena. It went down to the wire, and against Auburn, South Carolina let one slip away. Against Florida, South Carolina let one slip away, and they let one slip away today against Mississippi State, and this was truly a survival for the Bulldogs, a game that they did not play very well on the offensive side of the ball, especially late in the second half, trying to close out the ball game. And then in overtime, just for whatever reason, just some lapses from Mississippi State on the offensive side of the ball, a lot of stagnation, a lot of turnovers. On defense, not a whole lot of things to complain about outside of offensive rebounding that Mississippi State gave up. But another game where State just did not play super strong on the offensive side of the ball, but they found a way to win. And that's the most important thing for Mississippi State in this conference season, in a year where they're just not playing extremely well. At least, the last few games just haven't seemed to be playing extremely well on the offensive side of the ball. They have found a way to win a couple of games where they've had some lapses or hadn't played well down the stretch. And this was, make no mistake about it, a big win for Mississippi State. This is last place South Carolina. This is a team that has struggled to find ways to win games. And it's a team that you beat by 35 points last month. But when you go on the road, especially in the SEC, every single win is big that you can get. And this was a big win to check off for the Bulldogs, get them back over 500 in league play at 4-3. I think they're 16-4 now overall. So State, if you can look at it and say you're not playing extremely well right now, but you're still finding a way to win some of these games, that's good. Because I think that there's a lot more juice left in the squeeze for this team. So let's dig into it here. I thought from start to finish, State played extremely hard on the defensive side of the ball. That's where this game was won for the Bulldogs. They played extremely hard defensively. Now, one area that I do want to point out that they just did not do a good job today was boxing out and getting those rebounds. 21 offensive rebounds surrendered to South Carolina cannot happen. Mississippi State can't have that happen again. You give up 21 offensive rebounds most nights in the SEC, you're going to lose. Fortunately, you're playing a team that's really struggling to score right now. They don't have Miles Studi, one of their best three-point shooters, and they're limited what they do offensively. Kyler Murray Bowles struggles against Mississippi State with what State does, collapsing on the post with double teams. He's really had a tough time in both ball games. So when you're not able to get much out of your leading scorer and you have one of your best three-point shooters out of the game, State's got to take advantage of that. And you did hold South Carolina to 60 points, but 18 second chance points, that's way too many. 21 offensive rebounds, way too many. And you put them on the line. And, some of these calls were very iffy, but I thought the referees were kind of inconsistent both ways. I didn't think it was completely one-sided in how they called this game. State had 5 more fouls than South Carolina, but State's also a little more physical and a little more handsy on the defensive end. They were just inconsistent. There was no flow. There was no way to tell which direction they were going and how they were calling the game. And South Carolina gets, 22 points off the free throw line. They almost shot 30 free throws. So, they had a chance to get half of their points from the free throw line in this game. And or nearly half of it. State was 13 of 18. I thought down the stretch, State won the ball game by hitting free throws. Riley Kugel hit 4 big ones, Claudio Harris, Josh Hubbard. And overtime, Mississippi State, I think, had 8 made free throws. That won the ball game. They got to the free throw line in the fourth quarter, and they sunk them. That was huge for Mississippi State because in Chris Jan's time at Mississippi State, they've lost ball games by not making their free throws. They made them in this game. That's what mattered. And State shot 42%. Going on the road and shooting 42%, you'll take it all day, but 6 of 26 from 3. So when they made a conscious effort of getting the ball inside or driving to the rim, using dribble drive to initiate the offense, I thought the offense flowed. When they were dictating everything on the outside, when they were running all their offense with screens at the three-point line and they're getting further and further out towards half court, that just does nothing for you offensively. They ran the clock down to late in the shot clock most of the game, especially in the first half and late in the second half. They settled for very low percentage shots. And when you settle for that many low percentage shots and they're contested and they're late in the shot clock, the percentages that you're going to make those are extremely low. You're not getting wide open shots. Now, they had some wide open threes that they just missed. Riley Kugel was not going to miss very many wide open threes from the corner, but he did. He missed 2 big ones late in that second half. If he hits one of them, they probably win the ball game in regulation. And then Claudio Harris takes a wide open 3 with about 1:30 left. That was an opportunity there to stretch the game out a little bit and run some clock, and instead you miss a wide open 3 badly. You didn't milk 20-plus seconds off the clock. You made things difficult on you. And we saw that in this game for Mississippi State offensively. Late in I think it was overtime, you're chunking the ball down the court. You turn the ball over. It was tough to inbounds. This team just lacks an identity right now offensively. And part of it is, a big part of it is the fact that you don't have Kanye Clary, a true point guard, running this thing. We've seen Cam Matthews running the point. We've seen Josh Hubbard run the point. Riley Kugel. There's not a consistent voice there. There's not a true point guard there. I feel like Riley Kugel's a good option because it gets Josh Hubbard off the ball and it allows Cam Matthews to be playing a more natural position. But you're just not getting what you need from the point guard position. And Josh Hubbard is out of sorts right now with his shot. 4 of 15 in this one, another double-digit game. He's getting points, but it's coming at a high volume of shots. 4 of 15, 2 of 9 for 3, another tough night shooting from three-point range. Claudio Harris 1 for 7, so 3 for 18 from your 2 shooters. Thank goodness Riley Kugel hit 3 big ones. He had 15 points to lead Mississippi State. And I thought Keyshawn Murphy was very good, 13 points, 6 of 9 shooting. You got some good things from Michael Nwoku for the second time against South Carolina, 11 points, 5 of 7. And you got in foul trouble. Claudell, Hubbard, and Nwoku all had 4 fouls. And then the elephant in the room right now, Cam Matthews is just not playing great basketball. I don't know what's going on there. 0 points in 32 minutes. 32 minutes and not scoring a point is tough. And 8 turnovers. He had 8 of Mississippi State's 17 turnovers, so almost half of their turnovers. Josh Hubbard is taking care of the basketball. The thing about Hubbard is it feels like he's playing good basketball everywhere else but shooting the ball offensively. He had 5 assists and 0 turnovers. So, he's doing a good job, especially whenever he's, on the dribble drive. But I think it feels like Hubbard needs to play more around the rim, not really around the rim, but maybe mid-range and then out, as opposed to playing outside and getting all of his offense from the outside. I thought last year when he was at his best, he was coming off the dribble, he was coming off a screen around the elbow and hitting shots from the mid-range, maybe a teardrop here, a layup there. I feel like he's at his best when he's able to do that, and then he's coming off of screens and hitting threes. But get a little bit of confidence there from the mid-range, and I feel like that's State's offense in a nutshell. They should be playing more mid-range in than they are around the perimeter. All their offense right now is revolving around the perimeter, and when they were able to get set screens, do some backdoor cuts, some cuts towards the rim, when they did that in the second half, I thought the offense flowed better. And they should have had a better second half than they did. I thought they were in really good position until it got to about the 4.5 minute mark or 5 minute mark in the ball game. And they just completely got stagnant again. I don't think they made a field goal in the last 4.5 minutes. I think Claudio Harris hit a big 3 to put them up 9. You had a 14-point lead at one point, midway, a little over midway through the second half. It looked like you were pulling away. And then you got stagnant again. And what really led to them stretching the lead out was, some pick and rolls from Keyshawn Murphy, playing more towards your mid-range game with Murphy and, guys like that, instead of everything kind of settling at the three-point line. They got back into that whenever South Carolina switched to a 1-3-1 zone. And the 1-3-1 zone really stopped the dribble penetration. It stopped the finding Keyshawn Murphy at the elbow and letting him face up and try to get to the rim or hit. He's really good in the mid-range. I thought the 1-3-1 really slowed that down, and State could not adjust. They couldn't hit shots. They've really struggled to hit three-point shots on the road, especially in the last 3 games, and they finished 6 of 26 in this game. Luckily for Mississippi State, the defensive intensity was there. I think that's what's going to be able to carry them through some tough times that they're having offensively, especially on the road. 45-30 beat on the board is just not a good day. Rebounding for Mississippi State, probably one of their worst days rebounding. This is a team that rebounds it well. They just weren't in position, didn't make enough plays there. 9 offensive boards, 5 second chance points. That's how you beat Mississippi State, is you keep them off the offensive boards. South Carolina just couldn't overcome it. The defensive side is where State won this ball game. You hold South Carolina to 29%. 4 of 20 from three-point range, defended the three-point line extremely well. Not a whole lot of open looks. This is the best game they've played during the stretch as far as defensively and defending the three-point line. That's a major point of emphasis. So that was really good. And State 15 assists to 23 made baskets. That's a solid number. But just too many turnovers in this one. 17. State's got to be cleaner on the offensive side of the ball. But, again, at the end of the day, you find a way to win on the road. And this team playing with an extreme amount of toughness. I just don't understand, some of the decisions that are made late in ball games by Mississippi State in these close games. You have against Ole Miss, if you think back some of the issues that they had late in that ball game, that really kind of hindered them, but they found a way to win that. This one, bad turnovers. I think back at the last minute or so, you give up an offensive rebound for a bucket. Offensive rebound, I think, led to free throws. Turned it over twice. The game-tying point was a turnover in the backcourt that ended up going for a bucket in the last 20 seconds, and then a terrible possession. This offense just has a propensity of going through some moments where they just make dumb decisions or they get stagnant. And that's something that's got to get better for this Mississippi State team, because there's going to be a ton of games like this that are coming down to the wire that State has got to find a way to go make a play. Somebody's going to make a shot. They got to have players step up. And they didn't have that at the end of the half. But again, I thought defense set the tone right away in overtime. You got several stops in a row on defense. You made your free throws, and you went and found a way to win. It's one of those deals where, you definitely have some issues with this team right now. There's some things that they're scratching and clawing through offensively. But when you look at it, you're 16-4, you're top 15 in the country. You're going to be top 20 no matter what. When the AP poll comes out on Monday, because your loss came against a top 10 Tennessee, so you'll stay in the top 20. It's a top 20 team that's over 500 in the league after playing several top 15 teams, top 20 teams, and you're coming up on the midway point of SEC play, and you're in decent shape here. So you'll take this one all day long. This is going to be a gauntlet. State's got to scratch and claw through it, find a way to get out of this and become a better team. And it remains to be seen if they'll do that. Can this offense get back to form? Can they go on the road and dictate the tempo of the ball game and the style of play of the ball game and be a bully and do what you want to do offensively too? That's going to be the question for Mississippi State. This is a huge week on the way for the Bulldogs, because you got 2 top 25 teams coming to the hump. You got to get one of these games for sure, but getting 2 games really sets you up here for the last part of the schedule. You somehow find a couple of wins here against Alabama and Missouri, and you're in excellent shape to get that top 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's what you're shooting for. You're shooting for seeding right now. You feel really good about your chances of getting in this NCAA tournament. It's going to take an epic collapse, and I don't want to jinx them, but it will take an absolutely epic collapse for Mississippi State not to get in. So, at this point, you're trying to build your resume the best you can, and you take it one game at a time. Alabama coming up, top 5 team on Wednesday. It's going to be a packed Humphrey Coliseum, 8 p.m. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere. and State has got to really play well. This is an Alabama team that has just owned Mississippi State the last few years, especially under Chris Jans. And they have been able to play their style of play every single time. Can State get over the hump? Can State take them out of what they do? That's going to be the question. And then Missouri's a team that's been playing really well. That's coming up on Saturday. These are two huge games because right after that, you got Georgia on the road who plays extremely well at home. You got Florida, top 10 team coming to the hump. You got Ole Miss on the road. You got Texas A&M coming to the hump. This stretch here is the difference in Mississippi State, being where they want to be or going back to bubble in the NCAA tournament. They got to win some games here. And then you got some very winnable games. You got to kind of survive the stretch here and keep your head above water, be around 500 in the league or over 500. You'll be in good shape because the back half, outside of a road trip to Tuscaloosa on February 25th, you got Oklahoma on the road in Norman, who has not been very good. You got LSU at home, Texas at home, and an Arkansas team. Hopefully by that point, they're completely dejected. But winnable games there to close out the regular season. So 4-3, State gets a big win on the road against South Carolina. Got to be playing better basketball. But they're now 4-2 on the road. They're 16-4 overall. They're in really good shape right now. And hopefully they can start picking things up here next week with a huge week ahead. All right, so we'll close it out with that. More coverage coming your way on the website. Come check us out at BrandonWhiteDaily.com. We would love to have you become a member of our site for all things Mississippi State sports. Baseball season right around the corner. Basketball is hitting full swing here. Paul Jones and myself have the Mississippi State men and the women covered in full. And we'll have baseball coverage coming your way next month, which is going to be really exciting for fans too. So subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'd appreciate that. I appreciate everybody for watching these videos and giving me a little bit of your time. But other than that, that's been all for this reaction video. We'll try to get back in next week for Talking Dogs Live. So we'll do a little Q&A if we got some time to do it. I'll keep you updated on that. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you down the road.